This is going to be a short one, in part because I don't have a lot of nice things to say, and in part because my mouth is killing me. I was on a medication that gave me really bad mouth sores. I'm not taking that medication anymore because of some other stuff. We'll probably have to get into it in the next week. It's not good, but hopefully everything works out. But yeah, so this is why this one will be a little bit shorter. Mariners lose 4-2, fall to 1-2 on the season, and 1-2 in the 4-game series against the Athletics. Scoring plays: second inning, Rowdy Tellez scores on a throwing error on a Ryan Bliss stolen base attempt. 1-0 Mariners after 2. Fourth inning, though, Shea Langoliers answers back. Homers to left to score Brett Rooker. It is 2-1 in the fourth. A's make it 3-1 on a Miguel Andujar infield single. We'll talk about why JJ Bleday scores on that play, but that makes it 3-1. Mariners get one back in the sixth. Jorge Polanco singles home Randy Arozarena, 3-2. And then in the seventh, Brent Rooker reaches on an infield single to score Jacob Wilson, 4-2. And actually, I got my plays confused there. We'll talk about what happened in the seventh. In the sixth, that was just, things. Bryce Miller pitching not so great in the sixth inning, but in the seventh, we'll talk about what happened there. Real quick, Simply Seattle, please check them out. MollyWatt15 is the code. There's a link in the description. You can copy and paste MollyWatt15 to put it in, but it takes 15% off your order. Simply Seattle is awesome. They're great people. I cannot recommend using their services enough. I'm super biased because they are buddies of mine, but also because they have the very best stuff. And they wouldn't be buddies of mine if they didn't have good stuff, right? You'd like to think that's how I would operate anyway. Okay, positives from this game. Bryce Miller pitched okay. His line's not great. 5 2/3 innings of 3-run baseball. Clearly didn't have his best fastball command. Allowed 6 hits. I thought the knuckle curve was really impressive tonight. I wish they would have gone to it a little bit more. But at times he couldn't because he was falling behind so much. And, if you're looking for that pitch, then things aren't going to go very well. The bullpen pitched really well. Collin Snider pitched well. Gabe Spire pitched well. Bizzardo pitched really well over his final 1 2/3 innings. We'll talk about Snider in a second there. But the bullpen pitched well. A night after the bullpen pitched like absolute. Offensively, any positives? Julio gets on 3 times. Are you kidding me that this froze again? Nope. Okay. Frozen a couple times, and it's not making me very happy. Julio gets on 3 times, steals a couple of bases. We'll talk about Julio in the negative section as well, but a 3-rage game is good. You'll take that. Any other offensive positives? Ryan Bliss continues to take good at bats. Not so great in the 9th inning, and we'll talk about that, of course. But, I've been impressed with what he's done, and I've been super impressed with him defensively. Ryan Bliss is the best second baseman they've had defensively in a long time, probably since Robinson Cano. Darting with faint praise maybe a little bit because Colton Wong didn't live up to expectations. Adam Frazier was okay. Adam Frazier was fine at second base. Boy, he was bad with the bat, but fine defensively. Jorge Polanco was bad there. And we're going to have to talk more about Jorge Polanco's defense, unfortunately. And let's just get into the negatives. This offense stinks. Through the first 3 games, this offense stinks. Another 12 strikeouts. They've struck out 25 times over the last couple of games. And, strikeouts are just outs. And if the Mariners were scoring 6 runs or whatever, with those strikeouts, I wouldn't give a patootie. But they're not putting the ball in play. They're not putting the ball in play. In particular, Randy Arozarena had a bad offensive day. Big Dumper had a really bad offensive day. Both those guys draw walks, and it's great that they're drawing some free passes. Walks only do so much. I'm sorry, and it's why I think WRC Plus is such a flawed stat. Someone's calling me right now from Fangraphs to yell about it. Walks aren't as good as hits. They're not. They help a lot. They're infinitely better than outs. They are not as good as hits. Hits do more for you. Sorry, Fangraphs, I'm not answering. It's going to be a short video either way, so just stop calling me. I love you, Meg. I love you, Eric. I love you, everybody who works there, but I'm not. WRC is overrated. There you go. Luke Raley was bad. Mitch Garver was bad after pinch hitting for him. Jorge Polanco does drive in the run, but boy, his arm is going to be something that we have to monitor. And, you heard Ryan Rowland-Smith, those of you who are watching the game, talk about how they're working on that arm getting strong. Get working harder. It looks awful. It just looks awful. Like the throw he made, the only play that he made that really was acceptable was on that infield single where he was quick, he got to the ball, and he made an okay throw. But he made a couple other throws tonight that were just not major league. Not major league at all. And it's concerning because that's a spot you have to be able to throw at. I am just saying right now, I will not be shocked if Jorge Polanco ends the year as the Mariners' designated hitter and that Ben Williamson plays third base for the Seattle Mariners. Won't shock me one bit because Ben Williamson can pick it and he can throw it. Jorge Polanco can't do either. It's a problem. And speaking of defensive stuff, I think one of the biggest concerns I have over these last two games is how sloppy they've looked. Today was sloppy. Collin Snider, we have to talk about it. It's not the reason they lose the game, but it's a 3-2 game. Snider initiates a pop-up that goes something like 8 feet in front of home plate. He calls for the ball. Raleigh calls for the ball. Polanco charges in, and the person who catches it is no one. Raleigh should just next time tackle both dudes as if they were playing NFL blitz to make sure no one else touches the ball. That's his ball. That is his ball. Even if Cal Raleigh wasn't an elite defensive player, that's his play. That is 100% his ball. The pitcher is never supposed to touch that baseball, ever. The only time pitchers are supposed to touch the ball is literally when they pitch it and when something gets hit on the ground to them, comebackers, line drives. And even then, you kind of want them to get out of the way. This is not a pitchers aren't athletes thing. It's that the other guys are much more athletic and they have much more practice and a better angle of making those plays. That's a play Cal Raleigh makes if he doesn't get hit 101 times out of 100. That's sloppy. That's sloppy baseball. And real quick, saw a lot of comments about how concerned people are about Julio, and it's fine. I disagree. And I won't lie to you, though. These first 3 games haven't been great. Far from it. It's great to see him get on 3 times. It's great to see the 2 stolen bases. Hate that they had him go on the contact play. The Mariners wouldn't have scored a run anyways because this offense stinks. But, man, he's too easy to pitch to. For as talented as that dude is, and talented doesn't even begin to describe it, he's too easy to pitch to. And look, I'm not going to blame him too much for striking out against Mason Miller, who is, in terms of talent, the best relief pitcher in baseball. He's that type of dude who could have a 20 K9. It really wouldn't shock me. I know that sounds hyperbolic. It wouldn't shock me at all. He's that special with that fastball and that slider. And you even saw JP Crawford, who got a hit against him, look relieved to have just made contact against Miller. He's that good. So I'm not going to go too crazy about that. But man, it's just too easy to pitch to him. Those sliders, but he's far from the only person at blame here. Raleigh has been bad. Rosarina, outside of the homer, has been pretty darn bad. Only Polanco has been quality, I think, at the plate. And he's had his defensive issues. This is bad. You can say how early it is all you want. Not winning a home series to begin the year against a team that is still not really trying is bad. Now, a split's not the worst thing in the world, But now you have to win the series against the Tigers to have a winning record in your first home series, and that's not good. That's not good. Yeah. This just was too reminiscent of games that I saw in 2025, or very reminiscent of the games I've seen in 2025, too reminiscent of the games in 2024. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. I really appreciate the support. I'm sorry this one's a little shorter, a little more obvious, but there's not a whole heck of a lot to say anyway. This offense right now and last year, but right now stinks.